What is up, fellas? It is week 5 of NFL points, picks, and props. The prognosticators joining me, as always, Tommy Burch. He is in Connecticut. Ben O'Connell, he is in Chicago. I'm Kyle Garlett in Denver, Colorado. We are the three who bring you NFL points, picks, and props every single week. Well, we missed last week, but that was because I had a whole baseball situation with the Colorado Rockies. But thankfully, the Rockies have absolutely no danger ever of playing October baseball. So that is over, and I'm now just about football, of course, and the Kansas City Royals until they lose. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about last week. Hey, Ben, 2 in a row. Hold on. Two wins in a row for the Denver Broncos.
Success. We've done it.
Éxito.
Well done for the Denver Broncos. They have won 2 games for the first time since last November. We are very proud of them. And Bo Nix keeps winning. Not the prettiest wins, but W's look better in the column in the standings than losses. So
we're just going to count it up to the weather. At the end of the day, it was just really gross out, and who was ready for it? Neither team was. Obviously, I'm not sure if you watched that game or not. For a second, I thought I was watching the Iowa Hawkeyes. It was fascinating. Football, maybe like a time capsule game,
It is a guy who played his college ball in Oregon certainly wouldn't be ready for rain, obviously. Yeah. So sure, we can follow that as logic.
That kid from Oregon also just beat Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know where we complaining about here. 3 more touchdowns than Rodgers too. So I don't know.
All right. Oh, but hey, along with the Denver Broncos winning 2 games in a row. You hear that? Yeah, baby. A year ago, we all got on the Commanders hype train, and it went nowhere. I am feeling good about the 2024 hype train. The Washington Commanders, 3-1. Jaden Daniels, just like last year, the number 2 overall pick, beating the crap out of the number 1 overall pick. Jaden Daniels all over the map. He is fantastic. Best 4-game stretch in history in terms of completion percentage, not just as a rookie, best 4-game stretch of any quarterback we've ever seen. How about those Washington Commanders and the hype train going full speed ahead in the NFC East?
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, the number 1 fantasy quarterback right now.
It's awesome. Yeah. We knew that they had the skill positions. Obviously, and who knew it? A top-tier quarterback really helps, especially one that's only going to get better. Yeah, dude, the train is definitely a moving, and this time it feels like the Express, not, the broken-down tank engine like we had last time.
No, you got, obviously, Scary Terry there. Brian, your bullet don't mean shit to me, Robinson. There's a lot to like about this Washington. That offensive line has been fantastic, which a lot of people doubted them, but hey, 3-4 games, they look fantastic. So, and I love the Eagles taking a step back. The Cowboys looking like, well, the shitty Cowboys. And so these Commanders could actually win that division. That would be amazing. So the hype train, full speed ahead for the 3 of us on that. And we're going to then get into the week 5 picks. Of course, before we do that, we've got to play our game to see who gets to pick their favorites, their top dogs, and their easy money line picks first. And this is a special game. I'm really excited for this game. I know, Ben, you talked about remembering. You're not a big stats guy from years on past, and sometimes when it comes to, hey, so and so threw for 5,000 yards in 2003, that's not your jam. So I've got a game that I think is everybody's jam. All right.
Okay.
I think this is everybody's jam. This is going to be a visual game, and it's going to be about the Madden football franchise.
Oh my goodness.
Covers. We're going to look at covers. I'm going to present you a cover, and you're going to tell me who we're looking at. We're going to go cover, you name me the player. Cover, you name me the player. All right? This is going to be wonderful. This is going to be a blast. I promise you.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
Okay, so
This
who
is
wants to go
odd.
first? I don't care. I don't care who goes
Tommy
first.
can go first.
Oh,
here.
don't
Tommy,
put
you're
me on
going
the
to go
spot
first.
here.
All right,
Tommy can
Tommy.
go first. He's the defending
Tommy.
champ.
Yes.
Tommy, who is that? Who
It-
is this Madden cover from 2008?
2008. Is that Donovan McNabb or Vince Young? Vince Young.
It's Vince Young.
Vince
It is
Young.
indeed Vince Young. Well done, Tommy.
Oh, you
Oh, I almost lost it.
almost fumbled it.
All right. Ben, this is to you.
Payne
Who
Hillis.
is this man from Peyton Hillis? Didn't even.
You just gave
didn't
him a
even-
fucking layup, Kyle.
Hey, that's from 12 years ago.
Former
Peyton Hillis.
Bronco Peyton Hillis. Come on now. Here we go.
Well,
How dare
I
you?
mean, his best season, of course, was with the Cleveland Browns. All right, Tommy, here you go. Yeah, we're just confirming Peyton Hillis. Here you go, Tommy. Who is that Madden cover boy?
That's Dante Culpepper.
It is indeed Dante Culpepper. Well done. All right, Ben, this one is to you. Who is this Madden cover
Oh
boy from
my
2007?
I love this one.
2007 Madden
Hey,
cover
this is a
boy.
good one, Kyle. I like this one.
Dude, I forgot his name.
Oh, Ben, come on. He set an NFL record for most touchdowns scored in a season. That's what landed him on the cover.
I can't remember. Don't do this to me.
Ben, I'm
Tommy,
sorry. I have to take
Tommy,
this one.
can you steal from
Uh-huh.
2007 Madden cover?
NFL MVP Sean Alexander.
Sean Alexander. For bonus points, can you spell his first name?
SHAUN.
Yes, indeed. Well done, Tommy. All right. Tommy, this one is now to you. Oh, yes. There we go. There's Sean Alexander with the appropriate spelling. Can you name this Madden cover boy?
Kyle. We're talking about Eddie George.
We are talking about Eddie George.
Oh, boy.
Well done. That was indeed Mr. George. All right, Ben. You need this. You need this one bad.
I'm a gamer, Kyle.
Who is that
Donovan
Madden cover
McNabb.
boy? That is indeed Donovan McNabb. Well
I
done.
didn't say.
There he is in all his Philadelphia Eagles glory. Benny or Tommy. Madden cover boy.
Is this Michael Crabtree? No, it's Megatron.
Hey, well, there's somebody claiming to be Megatron nowadays. So the original Megatron, his name was.
I just said Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson. Sorry, it was
The
Pocket.
boy.
All right.
The
Yes.
Connect.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the Connect.
Oh, such a fire gaming system.
All right. Ben, who is that? Who is that Madden cover boy?
Is that Marshall Falk?
It is indeed Marshall Falk. And I think that might be the last one. Yep, that is the last one we have. So a hell of a game, guys. Tommy, you do win it with 5 correct answers. Ben missing that one was critical. Our tiebreaker question was going to be, of the 23 players who have been on the Madden cover, how many of them were defensive players? How many of the 23 Madden cover players have been defensive players?
Who's answering this first?
Tommy, give me your number.
Well, I feel like the only one that I can think of is Madden 25, which is Richard Sherman, or Madden 15 that was labeled 25.
Yes.
Which I don't know why it was. But I can't think of any others. I'm just gonna rock with the one.
Okay. Ben O'Connell, how many do you think it was?
It's 3 because they had the one right with the Steelers Arizona Super. I can't even remember who's on that one though. I think Ray Lewis was on it at one point too.
Ray Lewis was 05.
Ray Lewis was on it. So the correct answer is 2. Richard Sherman and Ray Lewis are the 2 defensive players who have been on the Madden cover. All right.
The Madden cover was the Steelers and was that
It
like
was
Madden 10?
It's Larry Fitzgerald and
it's Troy Polamalu.
no, because it's definitely 2. I don't know.
No, it is Troy Polamalu.
Holy, goodness.
Well, this little article here
Well, that's different. It's like
was a
solo.
lie.
It's solo players. That's like,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not
He
going
was
to
not
count
a
that.
he
I'll
he
give
was
Ben the
not a
win on the tiebreaker, though.
he was not a solo player. All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
the
I
two
felt
solos were Ray Lewis and Richard Sherman.
a little redemption there at the end there, just for fun. Here you go.
Okay, so Tommy, that means that you will go first. It was look. You only struggle with Sean Alexander. Everybody else, you got no
I
problem.
almost messed up Vince Young. I cannot believe that. That's criminal.
Well, to be fair, Vince Young did not have a stellar NFL career. His NFL career was pretty short lived. I think his
When did
college career was
Culpepper play?
longer than his NFL career. Yes, his Rose Bowl with when Texas and USC played was one of the best Rose Bowls you'll ever see.
One of the
All
best
right,
football teams you'll ever see.
one of
It's
the best
awesome.
football. Yeah, that
It's
was an
When-
awesome.
incredible game.
Oh yeah, Dante Culpepper never played for. Oh my god, that's horrible. That was a terrible one for me. I almost really messed up there.
All right, so gentlemen, let us begin with our games. Let's get our ticker going. We've got the point spread ticker down here. And Tommy, we are going to start with your game in Los Angeles.
Yes, so I'm picking the Packers minus 3.5 here. I'm pretty sure is Jordan Love supposed to be back again? Like he's supposed to be good to go.
Yeah, he's questionable, but that means basically he's going to play.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I'm really sticking with them simply because of the Rams injury report, and the Rams just have not looked very good. To be quite frank with you, they are wow, they are 0-4. I didn't even realize that. They suck. Sorry, Rams. Oh wait, no, they're 1-3 because they beat us, and we suck even more. So my Niners. So 1-3, they beat the Niners, but then last week, losing to the Bears. It's just not pretty. I don't think the Rams have the pretty football that we have seen from the last 2 years. We've been harping on Sean McVay and how amazing that offense is and how well he's coaching that system. But this year it just looks more inconsistent. I know it's the start of the season. We're 4 games in, fellas. We got to start picking up pace here. And the guys that they're supposed to be involving, they're not getting involved on offense. Like DeMarcus Robinson looks sad as a receiver, and it's not that he's not getting open; he's just not getting the ball. So Green Bay is the safe pick here at minus 3.5.
Yeah, no, I like the Packers. Obviously, there was a lot of rust to begin the game last week for Jordan Love. He finished really strong, looked great in that second half, put up some big numbers. I think that happens again this week against the Rams team that's just overmatched. Just too many injuries, and then really just a lack of good players on defense. I think the Packers go into LA and come away with this win and cover that spread.
Yeah, definitely no shame about last week at all. They were going up against one of, the hottest teams in the NFL, especially when they were coming to Lambeau and really wanted to win. Is if you play in the NFC North, that you want to win in Lambeau. So, valiant effort there at the end. It made it exciting there. I expect the Packers to be running on all cylinders. I like them to cover 3.5 easy.
All right. The Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. This game, this rivalry has some history. 2024 not going to be the finest chapter in this rivalry. These two teams are not fun. They're not fun.
Yeah, I don't think even with all the draft excitement that came from New England, now that it's week 4, everybody's back to not watching Patriots football. Which is kind of funny and ironic to an extent. The Dolphins, they do have a strong team. It's just, you put Tyler Huntley in there, Snoop, new system. I usually root for the new system guys, but it's difficult with an offense like that, something that's so, dependent on offensive play calling and not player ability. And I think that this week it's going to be better for Tyler Huntley. He gets an entire week with the ones. He already has been announced as the starter for this game, as long as nothing bad happens, knock on wood. And I like Tyler Huntley. I think he's a really explosive backup quarterback. I hope that he has a Josh Dobbs type run with the Dolphins here. But +1 seems easy money to me because the Patriots are just stinkers.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think that the Dolphins have folded up their tent. I think the Dolphins here, first week of October, are looking at this as a lost season already. Um, Tyler Huntley as a balm to solve their quarterback woes. I just don't see it. Especially again, he's only been there for a couple weeks. Tyreek Hill looks like he's ready to move on. He would like to be out of Miami. I think everybody on that team wants to be out of Miami. New England is friskier than we thought they would be. Yeah, I don't need to keep watching Jacoby Brissett do Jacoby Brissett things. I would love it if they would make the move over to Drake May just because that's the future, and let's go ahead and start him now. Especially now that you've passed the early season gauntlet, you're now up against some teams that he should be able to be successful against. Let's see him do it. But that's my issue with Gerard Mayo and then the Patriots and who they should have under center. I still think though at home, I think they have enough to beat a Dolphins team that looks just absolutely moribund without Tua at quarterback. I again, if unless they really are giving up on the season, they've got to go out and trade for somebody. And really, yeah, I know Tua played all 17 games last year, but you know that Tua is a problem. His health is a problem, and to have such terrible backups behind him, that's absolutely just malpractice by the front office there in Miami. To have to go out and get somebody outside the organization because the guy to fill in for Tua wasn't on your roster. I mean, come on, your team deserved better than that. But I'm going to go with the Patriots in a game that I am not going to watch at all. I probably won't watch any of the highlights. I will give it a cursory glance and spend about 15 seconds on this game on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kyle. I'm gonna take the Patriots in this one. I just don't think that Miami has anything cooking. I think they came into the season looking to be a big team. Now it's time to shrink for Shador or something. You know what I mean? They got to find a new quarterback in the offseason. I, Listen, I love Tua, and maybe that there's a better fit for him somewhere else in the league, but just all the injuries in Miami, I think there is something to be said about just leaving, whether it's just superstitious or not. I think you got to get out of there before you genuinely do too much damage to the long-term health, which I'm afraid is already a little too late for all that. But Baller's going to play, and yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna throw with the Patriots just because they actually have a team that's competing. And yeah, I'm sorry, Miami fans, this sucks.
No, it sucks to have your season ended because of an injury, but that's the nature of the NFL. When you've got quarterbacks who are taking up 20% of the salary cap, they go down, it changes the entire team. That's just the way it is. It's no bueno if you are a Miami Dolphins fan. Speaking of no bueno, Deshaun Watson is 1-3 on this season. Do you think that commanders are happy with their quarterback situation more so than the Browns are happy with their quarterback situation? What do we think?
I think that the Miami Dolphins might be happier with their quarterback situation than the Browns are with theirs. This is so sad. I mean, and then now you see Deshaun Watson and Jameis Winston fighting teammates on the sideline. Like, it's a whole mess in Cleveland, and the Commanders seem to have everything together. One thing I'm excited for is I think David Njoku's coming back this week. And David Njoku is one of the very few superstars of the Cleveland Browns. He is a high point. That dude was awesome last year. I'm excited to see him play again. But David Njoku isn't going to save the Browns from the onslaught of Washington at FedEx. Like, this is going to be a whole. I mean, I would never wish injury on anybody. I'm not going to be
I know.
like, if
Can make
Deshaun
an
Watson
exception
goes
for Deshaun
down.
Watson.
All I'm going to say is if Deshaun Watson goes down, they might have a better chance of winning and may have a better public perception. So I'm rooting for the good guys here, the American-made Commanders in Washington.
I hate to interject. It's not a may. It is a guarantee. Did you see what happened last season? They took a guy that wasn't even on their goddamn roster, brought him in, and they went to the fucking playoffs. Okay, Watson is by far the liability with this football team. It's been proven. And the fact is, they keep going back because they made a deal with the devil and they suck, dude. Cleveland is a trash ass football team, and they're not going to be anything other than that for a long ass time.
I was writing about Deshaun Watson this week and did some looking at the numbers. His dead cap hit, if they got rid of him, $172 million.
Oh my god.
They are stuck with this guy. He's not going anywhere. I absolutely love it. You make a deal with the devil, you're going to get burned. So who cares? No one cares. No one feels bad for the Cleveland Browns. They got into this mess. They knew what they were getting. They knew who he was. They still did it anyway. And they were going to go ahead. He's a terrible person. That's okay, but he's okay at football. Turns out he sucks at football too. So wonderful. Love it. Love it. And I love Jaden Daniels. That dude plays the game with a big smile on his face. Everybody seems to like him. The teammates seem to love him. Good for the Commanders. They sucked for a while. They stuck it out. They finally are getting rewarded. Good job. Good job, Commanders. I like the Commanders here because Jaden Daniels, I mean, this dude now is in negative numbers to win Rookie of the Year. He is your runaway favorite to win Rookie of the Year. And how can you deny it? I mean, the guy looks like an NFL quarterback. He plays the game with joy. He's just a lot of fun to watch. And Commanders hype train, baby. We are all over it because of that guy.
This line's a little disrespectful. I'll say it should be probably 4 or 5.5.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
However, I will say the Commanders still need to repent for their Sean Taylor memorial. That thing was awful. One of the worst statues I've ever seen.
That's just
ownership. That was the Snyder regime. We'll give them a chance now. If the stuff that they did in the past, I'm willing to give them a pass on some of that stuff.
Give them a shake. Give them a fair shake.
Yeah. We'll see. Once they get a new stadium, hopefully they have a brand new Sean Taylor thing. Rome wasn't built in a day, but they're doing a good job over there. All right. Speaking of that number 1 overall draft pick, Caleb Williams, he's at home against the team that had last year's number 1 overall draft pick, who's now sitting on the sideline. Chicago Bears, Carolina Panthers.
I'm rocking with the Bears here, -3.5. The Bears don't look too awful. Caleb Williams is kind of, he started off really slow, but as time has progressed, he's gotten a little bit better. He had a whole lot of passing yards against the Colts, and last week, he didn't throw the ball very much, but when he did, he was efficient. Got a couple of yards. He scored. Didn't turn the ball over. His season's not looking great right now, but I try not to take into account the first and second game of the season, especially for a rookie quarterback. He's put in a new system. But I'm not enthralled with anything Carolina Panthers. They look significantly better as a football team with Andy Dalton at the reins, and I think everybody can agree with that. Andy Dalton looks pretty good. And let me pull up his stats real quick. 2 weeks, 539 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. That's better than a whole lot of starting quarterbacks in this league right now. He is getting his journeyman story filled out to the brim right now. I'm all for it, but it's not going to change the fact that the Bears' defense is incredible this year, and their offense is making it work at least, and I think that's enough to beat the Panthers by at least 5 points.
Yeah, I obviously having an adult at quarterback makes a huge difference, and Dalton is that guy. Nobody's throwing a defense at him that he hasn't seen. Nobody's giving him looks he doesn't understand. Nobody's giving him new things that he can't handle. He goes through his reads. He understands how to play the position of quarterback at this level, and he's got some physical gifts. He doesn't have the same physical gifts as Caleb Williams. Dalton is the experienced guy with some limits. Williams is the athletic freak who has a lot of growing to do still. But I like the athletic freak in this, especially as you said, that defense is really playing well. At home, I think that the Bears the Panthers are still going to be the Panthers. Andy Dalton didn't turn them into a good competitive team. They're a better team, but the bar was really low, and I think that the Bears are easily clear that bar, and they'll do that this week. I wish that point spread was 2.5 because I could see the Bears committing a dumb turnover or doing something late to make this game close. But I do think that the Bears win this game, and I do think that they cover. I'm probably myself not going to put any money down on it because I'm not ready to trust the Bears completely. But you play this game 10 times, I think the Bears cover that spread 7 of those 10 times. So that's the direction I'm going.
I'm not excited to watch this game at all, but I'm kind of forced to because I'm in the area, so it's how TV markets work. But yeah, I'm not sold on this Caleb Williams kid. I'm really not, and I don't I don't know what more. He's progressing, and I'm waiting for a breakout game, and I think that Jane Daniels just makes him look bad. I'll be honest. That just kind of sucks because he was put in an impossible position. But we cannot forget that he put himself in that position. His talking and his attitude, it really put him in this position to be critiqued on such a high level. I am going to ride with the Bears just because the defense is really forcing this team to win games, even if the offense really is trying to throw them at sometimes. But I'm looking also at the total. You can find it at 40.5. I think that you slammed the over on that because I could see this being like a 24-18-esque game somewhere in there. I think they break 40 points. And it opened at 42. So I don't know why the market's going the other way, but yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tommy. Moving on to Ben, your games. We are going to start with the New York Giants at the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks 3-1. They just lost their first game last week, but I felt like they looked pretty good against the Lions. Certainly good enough to beat the New York Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's weird that it's at 6. I would have expected like a 7.5 type spread here to really make you decide if you want to play more than a touchdown. If it's under a touchdown, I'm going to slam Seahawks all day, every day. Why? Because the Giants are the New York Football Giants. What are we talking about? They're a really bad team. I think the Seahawks defense is going to make Daniel Jones look like Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones makes Daniel Jones look like Daniel Jones. You guys get that? Y'all know what I'm saying? The kid, you know, it was shocking. It was cool. They gave him a lot of money, and it's been terrible ever since. Uh, I'm going to ride with the Seahawks because the Giants are just stuck being the Giants for at least another 2 seasons.
Yeah, I can't see any reason why you would pick the Giants here. Uh, Even if the spread was 7.5, I would have a hard time justifying going with the Giants. So yeah, that just they're a bad football team. The Seahawks have shown that they are not a bad football team. They're a good football team, and at home with the 12th man, there's just no way that the Giants can be competitive in that environment. Seahawks, I think, win this game by 10 points or more.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say except for the fact that I think we got to give Geno Smith some credit here. That dude is having quite a season. I know his turnover touchdown ratio is the same. It's a 1-to-1 here, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks. But I mean, the guy is slinging the rock. He's not playing as uptight as he has in the past. He has more free will. His completion percentage is awesome. I think he leads the league in passing yards right now. I am a huge fan. I'm all for it. I love Geno Smith, underdog stories, and the Seahawks team is going to wallop on the Giants.
All right. Our London series is back. The first game in London this week. New York Jets versus the Minnesota Vikings. Aaron Rodgers versus Sam Darnold, a former Jet going against the Jets. They're in London.
Now let me just say, I've been making so much money just betting the Minnesota money line as they've been dogs the past couple of weeks for God knows what reason. Okay, they are a good football team. Don't let that deceive you. And if this game was being played stateside, I would slam 2.5 for the Vikings all day, every day. Here's the thing, though: they're playing overseas, and sometimes shit just gets weird over there. You know what I mean? The travel always can throw you off. There's always some weird wrinkle in the game plan. Your body's never 100% adjusted to the time zone, no matter what experts they brought in this season, to really figure it out. Uh, the Jets are the prime team to beat the Vikings in this type of situation. You got Aaron Rodgers, you got the storylines. I think Minnesota has to lose at some point this season. I do think that they are actually as good as they're showing. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're going to really fall off after this. I just think that at some point a team has to lose, and I think this is it for the Vikings. But don't worry too much if you're a Minnesota fan. It won't be too big of a deal. But yeah, I love the Jets here. I'm also taking my prop bets here uh, because I like this speedster from Iowa State named Alan Lazard, who went to high school 5 minutes away from my house in Urbandale, Iowa. I like him to find a touchdown because he has made himself one of Aaron's favorite targets. And at plus 310, I think the odds are, a little, those are really good odds for that. So I'm going to take a Lazard touchdown at plus 310 and make a little cash on it.
Well, I feel like this is your last chance to take Lazard because if Devontae Adams becomes a New York Jet next week, he gets pushed down the pecking order. So right now he's Aaron's guy, but does Adams become Aaron's guy if that trade happens? So yeah, jump on the Alan Lazard TD prop this week. Can't say the same for weeks down the road. Interesting fact, or not interesting at all, could just be nonsense. Aaron Rodgers has played one game in London before. He lost that game. That doesn't mean really anything to me. What means something to me is that you've got Sam Darnold, who has finally found himself some footing as an NFL starting quarterback, and he's now playing against a team that traded or that drafted him. He's been he's not out for revenge. He talks about, he's like, I didn't play well as a member of the Jets. Of course, the Jets did not set him up for success. The Jets had all kinds of problems. He was thrown into a bad situation, and we've seen that with the Jets since. I mean, that was 6 years ago now that he was drafted, and this is really the first year where we can feel like that they've got a lot of really good pieces around them, that they actually have a good offensive line. I really like this Minnesota team. I love the way Aaron Jones is playing to begin the season. I know he's an injury guy, so I wouldn't count on him in week 12. But here in week 5, I really think that he can do something. I like the Vikings to go into to London and win this game. As you said, anything can happen when these guys fly overseas and play football. The Vikings are 3-0 all time in London. Of course, these guys that are on the team now were not a part of those teams. So anyway, I'm going to go with the Vikings here just because I can see them winning this game by a field goal. They're playing really good football, and the Jets are kind of up and down. I mean, the fact is the Jets lost to the Denver Broncos. And
one of the hottest teams in the league.
I have a hard time getting past that. So I'm going to go with the Vikings here, but it's London. Anything could happen. It could be a 20-point blowout one way or the other.
Don't put your money on London, but if I was forced to put my money on London, I'm going to put it on minus 2.5 for the Minnesota Vikings. They're hot right now. You bet with the hot teams. You don't bet on the team that just lost to the Denver Broncos. That's not hot. That's cold. That's freezing cold.
Cry more, you haters.
But I'm rocking with the Vikings here.
All right. This matchup used to be one of the rivalries, the premier rivalries in the NFL back when these teams used to meet each other in the Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys haven't been to the Super Bowl since the advent of cable television. So really, this is all about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense and can they keep it going? Now, obviously, they did just lose. The Cowboys had that win over the Giants was really kind of like a loss. What do you think? What do you think there, Ben?
I'm slamming the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Why? Because the Cowboys suck, dude. The Cowboys freaking suck. Did you see that they had to pause practice because Jerry needed to land the cock?
I did see that.
Like, what are we doing? Like, does it? Remember, no one
Is that
can
a
do it
parking
like
lot somewhere? He's got to go on the field. I mean, what a
That's
douchebag.
bad designing. That's bad designing. If you knew you had a helicopter, why wouldn't you buy a fucking helicopter pad? What are you doing, dude? If you're so rich, dude, remember, no one can do it like Jerry. No one sees things and is a visionary like Jerry. And for those reasons is why I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers, because Tomlin could take, some high schoolers and Sunbelt kids and make them have a winning season for some reason. That's just what he does. He's got the scrappy team going. It's gonna be in Pittsburgh. The Yinzers get excited no matter how bad their team is. I'm gonna go with the Steelers on this one, especially by like two and a half, please.
Well, and Justin Fields has not been a liability. I mean, he's not going out there and winning games, but he's not losing games, which he used to do. So you combine a really great defense with a quarterback who can make some plays, and all of a sudden the Pittsburgh Steelers are a pretty good team. And the Dallas Cowboys, after getting their asses beat twice in a row, go out and look like they couldn't have cared less about their game against the Giants. I'm not impressed with the Cowboys at all. The Cowboys are allegedly in the market for Devontae Adams or DeAndre Hopkins or anybody. They're getting another wide receiver is not the problem here. This team is just they're the worst rushing team in football. They're terrible at running the football, and there's just no urgency. There's just no juice to this team. It's a boring football team, and the Steelers are not. Even though the Steelers are will beat you 13-10. They're the most exciting team to do that in recent memory, and I'm going to go with the Steelers here.
Kind of like Justin Fields this year, guys. I've never been a big Justin Fields guy. I think I vocalized my distaste for him on plenty of occasions on this show. But I think he looks fine this year. Under Tomlin, he's a little more reeled in, not making horrible decisions, not a turnover machine. He's getting it done. I think he earned himself the starting job. And I think that their best chance of winning is with him behind the wheel. And I like this Steelers team a lot better than with Kenny Pickett. Even though their offensive play calling is still horrid, their defense is still carrying them. It's better than last year, and it's better than the Cowboys, quite frankly. So I'm going to rock with the Steelers -2.5.
All right, Ben. If you went back in August, we would have figured that this game was going to be for first place in the AFC North. It really is for which of these two teams is going to really get behind the eight ball when it comes to making the playoffs. Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, and the Ravens last week had a nice win against the Buffalo Bills, who I still consider to be a good team in the AFC, while the Bengals played and battled, might I add, the Carolina Panthers in what felt like their Super Bowl. Of course, if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, every game's your Super Bowl because you don't have one. You know what I mean? So, 2.5 to me is shockingly a little shockingly small, especially with Derrick Henry showing off that he can still break a long one off if needed. I like the Ravens here at -2.5, and I'm gonna put a decent sized investment on that one.
Yeah, the Ravens' first 2 weeks were a little slow. These last 2 weeks they've looked fantastic. They are every phase of their team is playing at a high level. Derrick Henry, 199 yards last week. Come on, John, get him 200. Don't let the guy just sit there at 199. I also might be speaking as a Derrick Henry fantasy owner. Henry's going to have a big game against this Bengals team. The Bengals defense is not very good. Really, this team now they only have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. There's not much else to like about the Cincinnati Bengals team. I am not that surprised that they're 1-3. I am not going to be surprised at all when they are 1-4. And at that point, it becomes a really big task for them to get into the postseason. The Ravens are still the class of this division. I think the Ravens are still going to win that division, and I think that they move up on the Bengals by a game here with this, what I think is going to be a relatively easy victory.
The Ravens' record does not define how they are as a team. They are still a premier team in the AFC, and they are playing like it. They are competitive. They have shown to be a very good football team. It's not like we're looking at the ghosts of last season. They still have juice. It's this end of the season is going to be really good for them. I have a lot of confidence the Ravens are going to be good, and the Bengals are, to an extent underwhelming. And so is Joe Burrow. I think the Ravens is the smart choice here. This should almost be in favorite territory.
All right, Ben. What the hell are the Jacksonville Jaguars doing as a favorite?
Dude, does Vegas know who's
They're
under center?
they're the only team in the league that hasn't won a game. Everybody else has won a game.
I'm confused because the line is set like this because of who's under center for the Indianapolis Colts. And my question is, do you not know who this man is? Come on now, what are we doing here? We did this last year. What is this bullshit? Okay, Joey Flax. Okay, Joe Flacco is nowhere near done just spinning the rock. All right. This guy's got a lot of football left in him, and I'm sure he's going to still be playing games while he's riding a scooter, okay? Because his arm is never going out of style. He's got a cannon on there, all right? And is lethal, and how can you not like him, right? But I think that he can do it again. I think that he's about to give this Colts team a prime run into the postseason. I mean, look at what he's got. This is an offense that operates exactly like Joe would love to run an offense. You got Taylor there for you, so you don't have to be doing a bulk of everything. You're just having a brewski and another day at the office, man. I love Joe Flacco. I love the Indianapolis Colts, and why don't we all just make money off of this? Go play the money line. What are we talking about? It's the Colts. It's Joe Flacco. And on the other side, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. What bombs? What bombs, dude?
Yeah, the Jaguars are just, we talked about this during our preseason show where we're just like, I don't know what the Jaguars even think they're doing, what their plan is. They have no plan. And we're seeing it played out in each of the first 4 weeks. They look like a team that has nothing to do. They're like, we're going to just go out and play a little pickup football, and we've got our number one overall pick as our quarterback, and that's all. That's their entire plan is, we've got a guy at quarterback. Well, you don't have a guy at quarterback. He's not very good. Joe Flacco right now way better than your buddy Trevor. Yeah, I mean the pride of Delaware. Joe Flacco, Delaware Hens, he's just out there balling. And I don't care if Flacco gets hurt and Anthony Richardson plays. I still think the Colts beat this Jaguars team because their Jaguars are terrible. Why are they? They should not be favorites at home. They shouldn't be favorites anywhere. They're not good. They're not a good football. They even said, Doug Peterson said, we're not a good football team. Doug Peterson, who is, I'm sorry, Doug, but when they ask you it's like, why wouldn't I have thought about my job? Why would I ever think about my job? Because this is the NFL, and right now your team sucks. That's why, as a head coach, you think about your job. Doug Peterson, It's a toss up. Either Doug Peterson or Nick Sirianni is going to be the first guy canned, and Doug's going to go to his fifth loss before Sirianni is going to get there. So I would probably go with Peterson getting the axe here, and I just think that they're going to get embarrassed by the Colts at home. It's. I have no time for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This line is horrible. Jacksonville sucks. Joe Flacco is awesome. One of the coolest guys in football. What are we doing? This is ridiculous.
Why did the Browns not keep him?
That's so dumb.
Because wait. I actually have the answer.
Spent all that money on
You
Deshaun
have the-
Watson.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Ben.
because if you have him as backup, then by week 3, the whole fan base and the whole stadium is chanting, "We want Joe," like it's the Democratic National Convention 4 years ago. Okay, like everyone's gonna be going crazy, and for another old Joe, would you believe that? Okay, like this
Oh my
guy
God.
is like.
But this
That's
Joe
the truth.
can
The
perform.
truth.
This Joe is one of the best football players that I've ever laid my eyes on.
I know.
Joe Biden, maybe he can't throw a football.
Look,
like
I've never seen him throw a spiral, so I'm not going to judge the man.
really likes ice cream though. That guy.
Also from Delaware. I mean, so there's
He scored the
there's
most points in his state his senior year. Did you know that? I mean, that was back with the leather helmets, and it was Delaware. I'm not sure if they have more than one high school team there, but you know what I mean? Like, what do? Just play Connecticut really well? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, don't disrespect Connecticut high school football here. All right, we created Will Levis and
They
Tim
turned out
Boyle.
some really good players there in Connecticut.
There's one guy
Yeah.
that we're not allowed to speak much on that's from Connecticut who was really good for a little while there before he made some poor decisions. So
Who's that?
they made a documentary about him.
Oh, was he a tight end by chance?
Yes, quite possibly.
Okay.
Hometown
Okay.
guy.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. All right, yeah,
Rob.
no, he wasn't great.
Yes, Rob Gronkowski.
He can't get into USAA, and he keeps trying. I don't get it,
Oh.
dude. What's up with him?
Yeah.
He is their biggest fan.
Something in his past is clearly triggering their credit check on him. All right. So we all agree that the Jacksonville Jaguars suck, which isn't really a hot take. Everybody who's watched football knows that they suck. All right. Moving on to my games. This is actually a pretty good football game. The Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. Now, I'm going to go with the Texans here, although I will say the Texans are currently 0-4 against the point spread. That can be worrying if this had been a spread that they've really got to cover. But at one point, it's not much of a spread. It really is a pick'em game. The thing is, the Bills looked fantastic for the first 3 weeks of the season. They looked like the best team in football. I'm not going to judge them poorly because of one game, but I do think that there is a lack of talent on that defensive side of the football, and we saw it come back to bite them against the Ravens. This is another very good offensive football team in Houston, and I think that that's also going to make things tough for Buffalo. They're going to struggle against really good offenses. The Texans are a very good offense, and they have a guy who would very much like to beat the Buffalo Bills in Stephon Diggs. I like the Houston Texans to finally have that breakout game. They were the sexy Super Bowl pick. Maybe we got a little ahead of ourselves. We have to remember they only won 10 games last year. And CJ Stroud didn't leave himself a whole lot of room to grow. I mean, he was so good last year. Even being better this year doesn't mean that there's leaps and bounds better, because there's only 60 minutes in a football game. So, but I do like the Texans at home. I think that they get back on the winning track here. They obviously look terrible in that game against the Vikings, but I like the Texans here at home against the Buffalo Bills. It'll be a close game. The Bills are a good team, but the Texans, I think, they're just better, just have more depth than Buffalo does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of conflicted on this. It's two pretty good football teams, and both these quarterbacks are good. Both these offenses have looked really good. My props actually from this game regarding the offenses, but we'll get there. I if I had to pick, I'm going to pick the Texans simply because they're like a really well-oiled machine and they're very consistent on offense. Josh Allen is like in and out. He's thrown for 300, then he's thrown for 180, then he's thrown for 300 again, then he's throwing for 185. It's just a back and forth, and I'm not with that. But this actually my prop requires both quarterbacks to be playing pretty well because my prop for the week is CJ Stroud and Josh Allen having 250 or more passing yards. That's going to hit you plus 290 money. I'm assuming this is going to be a game where we're hitting the over. The offenses are the star power on both of these teams, and I really do believe that these teams are going to be scoring consistently. And with scoring comes the other team has to throw the ball a little bit. When you're down, you have to throw. So 250 plus for each of them. They're both, I think, averaging over 250 yards a game. So this is kind of easy money, I think. Plus 290 is a good line here.
I think we
Yeah,
all
yeah.
I
Go
think we
ahead.
all see it the same, that this is going to be one exciting football game. I love that prop too. I think that this is just going to be an absolute showdown. I think that this is one of those games that we look back on, years from now and be like, dude, that was one of CJ Stroud's first coming out parties. You know what I mean? Like, just I think it's going to be a great game. I'm also leaning the Texans on this one, but yeah, I love this prop.
Yeah, this is the anti-Dolphins and Patriots game where I don't want to watch either quarterback. I want to watch both these quarterbacks all the time. They're both so much fun to watch. They play great football. It's going to be a good football game without a doubt. It's this. I mean, this is to me, this is the marquee matchup of Week 5.
Yeah, I'm
And I
gonna
do,
have
and I
I'm
do
gonna
dig
have
the
my
prop.
Sunday ticket up. I'm gonna have the multi-viewer on. This is gonna be top left corner. It's gonna be highlighted. You know what that means, boys? Sounds on. You know what I mean? So, like, come on now. This
Well,
is
and,
the
and
game of the
and with
week.
your Broncos off, you get a chance to really focus, right? I
I
mean,
know. Thank God.
yeah. Or no, I'm sorry, the Broncos are still playing. Well, they're off, kind of. I
Well,
mean,
it'll be later in the day though, right?
they're kind of on a bye. They're always on a bye. No, no,
Jesus
No,
Christ.
no time for
please,
that. No time for that.
please,
Okay.
please, Kyle.
I mean,
Please. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them in due time.
Yeah, not there yet. I am though there with Tommy's team, the Arizona or the San Francisco. I almost said you were an Arizona Cardinals fan. The San Francisco 49ers are playing the Arizona
don't
Cardinals
distract me like
today.
that ever again.
They are touchdown favorites over the Cardinals at home. Look, the Cardinals have this weird offense that they could go out and score 40 points, but they are the most inconsistent, annoying team ever. Whereas you watch the first quarter and think, damn, the Cardinals really got it going on. And then suddenly, for the next 3 quarters, they absolutely disappear. The 49ers don't do that. The 49ers are consistent. 49ers, there's obviously Christian McCaffrey is still going to be out for at least another month, but the rest of the team is getting healthy. And the guy we're not talking enough about is Fred Warner. My God, this dude. So last week, he became the first player in 49ers history to have both 10 interceptions and 10 forced fumbles. And they've had some pretty goddamn good defensive players over the years. A guy named Ronnie Lott mean anything to anybody? Fred Warner is just. I mean, we get all focused on quarterbacks like Josh Allen and CJ Stroud, but man, I'm looking forward to this game because I just love watching Warner play on defense. He is really one of the best players of the last 20 years. Such a fun guy to watch. The 49ers are a fun team on defense, largely because of him. So, yeah, I think the 49ers win this game pretty easily because I just can't trust the Cardinals to do anything. The Cardinals are they're gonna go 4 times more this year. They're going to score a bunch of points and win a game I didn't think they were going to win. It's not going to be this week though. The 49ers are going to win this game pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be as unbiased as possible here, but San Francisco is pretty awesome. Last week they looked really good, but it's also really easy to look that good against a bad football team. So they're playing the Cardinals. The Cardinals are hit or miss. But they look fine. I mean, better than they have in the past couple of years, I think. So I think 7 points, as much as I think the Niners are going to beat the crap out of them, in an in-divisional game, uh, I kind of get a little testy with spreads that big. I'm going to go with the Niners here because that's the smart thing to do. But I'm probably staying away from this game, to be honest with you.
The spread opened at 9.5. It looks like, and I like the fact that it's played down to a number that I can play the 49ers at. In fact, I'm probably still going to tease it down to 6.5 when I play it personally. But at an even 7, I don't mind putting a few dollars down. Uh, I agree with you guys. Like, this is San Francisco's uh, game. I do feel pretty confident that it's just how close is Arizona going to keep it, because they definitely have the ability to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Niners with you guys.
All right. Got to hit a little ahead of myself with those Denver Broncos. Here they are hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. The Broncos are favorites. And boy, can both teams just lose?
You wish. You
Oh
wish.
gosh.
I mean, boy, there. Speaking of games that I will not be watching, I don't need to see another, 45-yard passing performance out of a starting quarterback in the National Football League. I look at the Raiders offense and I see better players, but the Broncos defense is really quite good. And I'm going to go with the Broncos. I'm not going to be rooting for them, but I wouldn't be rooting for the Raiders either. But I'm not. I'm
Like,
going to
what
go
are
with
you
the Broncos.
talking about?
They're at home. They're at home. I can see Gardner Minshew making a couple of dumb mistakes that the Broncos can turn into points. The Broncos defense is probably going to outscore their offense, but that will be enough to win this game because the Raiders are probably not going to get more than 10 to 13 points. I could see this Broncos win this one 16-12 and move to 3 straight games. We'll play the success soundbite again when they win their 3rd straight next week.
This game is horrible. I want nothing to do with this. as a lover of football, this is just so like this makes me wonder if it's really worth it.
Yeah.
Do I really love football so much as to put this game on? I promise you, I do not have enough love for football to watch this game. And I
This
can
is this is
sacrifice
this
I can
game is proof that Satan exists.
yes. And the Stroud Josh Allen game is proof that
Yeah.
God does. So
I probably have to watch that game a couple times to get the taste of this one out of my mouth.
I think I should probably watch that game so I can repent, because watching this game makes you a sinner.
Ben is
Boys,
taking this very personally.
boys, what are we talking about right now? Okay. Okay, listen, the Bills and Texans, they kick off at noon Central, okay? And the Broncos in Vegas, they lead off the second window. You understand, Josh Allen and CJ Stroud is merely the appetizer for what it will definitely be a feast, which is the Denver Broncos taking on uh, the hated and despicable Las Vegas Raiders. Good, good. They hate us because they ain't us, and Kyle's mad because he's starting to feel the heat of the Broncos
I
gaining
am.
traction, and he can feel us catching up, and he's starting to get nervous with Rashid Rice going down. He's like, oh, the Broncos might be coming in for the AFC West, and I would tell Kyle, don't worry too much. I think that it's going to take us a little bit more, but this Broncos team. What can you be upset about? This is our Super Bowl. Okay, I'm gonna just say it at the end of the day, because there is a streak and it is disgusting. And how have the Raiders beaten us so freaking much lately? It's absolute horseshit. And the Redeemer, Bo Nix, is here to set the record straight in the vintage Orange Crush uniforms. Oh my goodness, maybe the most beautiful uniforms to ever touch the field this year. They're absolutely beautiful, and they should be our full-time uniforms. I'll say that.
They 100% should be full time. Yeah.
And Kyle's going to be eh, anxiously awaiting it later in the season when we wear them to beat the Chiefs, at home. So that of course will be fun. It'll be a fun little throwback to his childhood and everything. But I dare not get too excited. First, the PTSD is for Mr. Mark. Uh, Mark Allen, is that their name? What? Who are the Raiders owners at this point? I don't know.
Mark Davis. Mark
Mark
Davis.
Davis, dude. This guy sold his soul to Sin City. It doesn't even matter anymore. Anyway, Broncos by a mile. Bo Nix, a 400-yard game, 4 touchdowns, easy.
He might have a 400-yard career, Ben.
Rushes for 2 more. Easy win. Denver Broncos by 27.
This
Okay.
is the toilet bowl.
And obviously worth again reminding everybody, Devontae Adams is desperate to get out of Las Vegas, so he is not going to make a difference in this game. From what I understand, he's not going to play. So yeah, Denver Broncos will win their third game, finish the season 3-14. All right, moving on to the Monday night matchup. New Orleans Saints at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs,
no surprise.
The only 4-0 team in the AFC. Now, to win Super Bowls, you got to be good, but you also have to be lucky. And over the last few years, the Chiefs been very lucky when it comes to injury health. Luck is starting to turn against them this year. Hollywood Brown is out, Isaiah Pacheco's out, and now Rashee Rice is out. Very bizarre. They never actually came out and said he tore his ACL. The MRI did not confirm a torn ACL. He's going to see a specialist. He was placed on IR today, so he's going to miss at least the next 4 games. We're still not exactly sure the extent of his injury. Could be weeks, could be months, could be for the season. Nobody really seems to know, which is weird, because that's generally not the way it is. Usually within a couple of days, we've heard the diagnosis because they want to get on with the surgery so these guys can start healing and coming back. So the Chiefs appear to be in the market for a wide receiver, but we're not 100% sure. Until then, Juju Smith-Schuster is the man. Maybe not the guy you want to rely on, but Patrick Mahomes did win a Super Bowl with Juju, and Travis Kelce broke out of his shell last week. But I think what the real key here is that the Chiefs defense is really good. They are still really good. Chris Jones is playing like a madman. He was just named AFC Defensive Player of the Week, and he's actually has a pass rush win rate that is better than TJ Watt or Nick Bosa, and those guys are going up against, they're on against tackles on the outside. He's getting double teamed in the middle of the line. Still just a beast. One of the guys who really should be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. He leads this Chiefs defense. He's also sacked Derek Carr 8 times in his career. I think he gets to Carr at least once, maybe twice. He had 2 sacks last week of Herbert. The Chiefs defense is going to lead this game. The Chiefs are going to win this game 20-13 because their defense is very good. And that is going to be part of my prop. I think the New Orleans Saints score less than 2 touchdowns in this game. They're going to get a touchdown, a couple of field goals, maybe 3 field goals, but that's going to be the extent of their scoring. So I'm going to get plus 165 on that prop. They are not going to find the end zone. They didn't find the end zone against the Eagles a couple weeks ago. They're not going to find the end zone against the Chiefs, which is a defense playing much better right now. And so that's the direction I am headed, fellas. This team is going to win like they did last year on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this has been a tougher season for Patrick Mahomes. And this is not to say that he's a bad player. Obviously, that would be something very preposterous to say as a football fan. But with or without his weapons this year, they've been locking up Travis Kelce a bit. They've been putting a lot more bodies on him. Xavier Worthy's getting a couple good looks, and Rashee Rice is the number 1 guy. But it's not looking incredible. I think his touchdown interception ratio is a 1.2 right now. I think he has 6 touchdowns to 5 picks, something along those lines. Right now, his stats indicate that he is a slightly above average quarterback this season, but his team's 4-0, and he is the leader of that team. He has the jewelry. I'm on the Kansas City Chiefs supporter train. I that was a lie. I actually don't know why I said that. I hate the Chiefs, but I do think for this week I could hop on that train just to see them beat New Orleans. So yeah, -5.5. It's a big spread, but I'll take it.
You mentioned him earlier. I'm really excited to see what they do with Xavier Worthy now, because he is quite fast. He's already proven to be dynamic in certain places. It's just about how do you get him the football. And if you know anything about Andy Reid, he can get creative to find ways to get you the football. They're definitely going to have to lean on him and the speed, and hopefully get a few explosive plays. Go out there, get yourself a Xavier Worthy anytime touchdown. That's still at +145. Make yourself a few extra dollars, because I think that he's going to be very big in the game plan here. At least I sure hope so, because I drafted him in fantasy, and it feels like a sin to do so. And but hashtag we're not worthy. So here we go. I like the Chiefs in this one, 5.5.
All right, fellas. Those are our games for the week. It's going to be a fun week. We are week 5, October, so bye weeks have started. International games have started. We are now fully into the NFL season. It is now fall. It is October. Wonderful time. This now finally feels like football. I was just talking to a friend of mine who went down to Tampa Bay for the Buccaneers-Eagles game. Of course, you obviously had the hurricane, but he said it was about 105 degrees for that football game. Said it was miserable. That is not football weather. Football weather there needs to be a chill in the air, and when you get that first hit, you should feel it because you're a little chilly. All right, guys. That does it for us. We appreciate everybody who's tuned into us. You can find us.
Oh, Kyle.
We gotta make some picks.
Oh yeah.
make some
Oh
picks here.
yes. I'm just anxious to go. I've got to go plan my American League Division Series. Mapping out the Royals sweeping of the New York Yankees. My apologies. You are correct. We've got our favorites, our top dogs, and our easy money lines to pick. And Mr. Burch won our quiz, so he gets to pick first. Let me go ahead and put the tallies together. All right, Tommy, your favorite of the week.
My favorite is going to be Washington at -3.
Washington Commandos -3. All right. All right, your top dog.
My top dog is going to be Indianapolis +2.5.
Indy. All right. And let me take a quick look at the point spreads. So who do you want to go with for your easy money line?
At my money line, I am going to rock with Houston.
I've got them at 105. What do we have them at?
I found them at MGM at +100.
Okay, we'll give you easy or even money on the Houston Texans.
Nice.
Okay, Ben, your favorite, please.
My favorite, of course, is the Denver Broncos. Come on, what are we doing here? Easy win here.
Denver. Well, they're going to have to score at least 3 points to win by more than 3. So, okay. Your top dog, please.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jets.
The Jets. Jets. All right. And your easy money line, please.
Yeah, my easy money line is going to be Indianapolis at +130.
Stole it from me. You what do you have? You say you have plus what?
130.
Okay, +130.
Everyone should go slam that right now. What are we doing?
Yeah, that is ridiculous. That is all right. So my favorite, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's a good one.
My top dog. I don't love very many of these dogs.
All right.
I guess I'll go with the New England Patriots as my dog,
It's not bad.
giving up or getting a point. And on the money line, I was thinking about taking the Raiders just to be a dick, but but also just be throwing money away there. So I'm not going to do that. I am going to go with, boy, not really great ones. I'll just go with the
Some small
Ravens.
chickens.
I'm getting the Ravens here.
Right.
I've got minus 135. What do you have?
Yeah, minus 135.
All right. And that is it. So to recap, Tommy Burch's favorite are the Washington Commanders. They are giving 3 points to the Cleveland Browns. Top dog is the Indianapolis Colts, inexplicably getting 2.5 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the easy money line is even money on the Houston Texans. Ben's favorite, the Denver Broncos, they are giving 3 points to the Las Vegas Raiders. New York Jets are in London, and they are getting 2.5 points. That's his top dog. Indianapolis Colts at plus 130 on the money line. The easiest money line bet you can make all week. I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are giving 3 points to the Dallas Cowboys. Or I'm sorry, 2.5 points to the Dallas Cowboys. New England Patriots are getting a point against the Miami Dolphins. And I've got the Baltimore Ravens at minus 135 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now the show is complete. We have made all of our picks. We hopefully have made you some money this week. And fellas, we agree. The Jacksonville Jaguars are terrible, and the Houston Texans and Buffalo Bills are going to play one of the best games of the weekend.
Absolutely.
Everything else falls in between those two things. All right. On behalf of Tommy Burch, who is in Connecticut, Ben O'Connell, he is in Chicago. I am Kyle Garlett in Denver. We are NFL Points, Picks, and Props. Thanks for watching.
Rudy was offsides.